As the unofficial queen of death games, I watch so many death games, it is unreal. There was no way that a brand new death game was gonna come out and me not find out about it. And this one happens to sound like if you took the movie The Condemned and 31 and smashed them together in a blender and set it in a near distant future, you get Arena Wars. But if you don't know anything about Arena Wars from 2024, let me quickly fill you in. Arena Wars from 2024 is an action death game horror. In 2045, convicted criminals are given the opportunity to compete in the world's #1 televised sporting event, Arena Wars. They must survive 7 rooms and 7 of the world's most vicious killers in the country. If they win, they regain their freedom. If you're new here, I go by Hordes, and if you're not new, welcome back. I talk about horror movies here on my channel on Mondays and Fridays, but as always, when it comes to watching movies that I have never seen before, I am now going to go and watch Arena Wars off camera, so that way, if you too want to watch this death game with brightly coloured killers, nothing will be spoilt for you, because nobody wants to watch a movie you've just watched somebody else watch from start to finish, and I keep it spoiler free here on my channel, because nobody, and I mean nobody, likes spoilers. You lied to me. Grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a beverage, get yourself comfy, because this is going to be a rant review, and I know that some of you love when I do rant reviews. Like, it is safe to say that the unofficial queen of death games is not happy right now.
I want you to think about what you've done.
I'll start by saying that there are a limited number of reviews available for this movie online, most of them absolutely trashing it, and I have to agree with a big portion of them. Now, in the beginning of this video, I said that it sounded like the movie The Condemned meets 31, and more accurately, and this is not meant as a disrespect to this movie, it is like The Condemned meets Slashers meets the TV show Ultimate Tag. Now, is this the worst death game that I have ever seen? No, but that is certainly saying something, because this is not a good movie at all. Plot-wise, this should be fairly straightforward to follow, but our character Luke, who you follow, is basically the character that Stone Cold Steve Austin plays in The Condemned, but if that character was ordered on Temu/Wish, it is literally his backstory copy and pasted onto this character. But the difference is, in The Condemned, Stone Cold's character is an enigma wrapped in a riddle and then topped with a mystery all the way up to his fight with Vinnie Jones, and Luke's storyline is revealed way too soon, but I couldn't actually care less about the budget version of this character.
Bye, have a beautiful time!
The first room that you meet in the arena, I mean, it's the same room for all of them, it's not 7 rooms like you are told about in the synopsis, is a room that has like a fire trap that gets triggered, and the first assassin is a man in a business shirt with his paintball vest over the top and a mask with a Pinocchio nose. But the issue is, they use this exact same room for both groups of inmates that you use, which immediately is a red flag for me, because this tells me that this is always going to be the first room every single time that this game is played. You need a level of unpredictability when it comes to death games, so the smart decision would have been to switch around the order that you meet your killers every time that this game is played. The second killer is also the same, and the third killer is also the same. The thing with death games is, if you are the average Joe, your chances of surviving are nigh on impossible, which is why only the strongest and smartest players should be able to make it all the way through to the end of a death game. I should not, as a viewer, be able to watch your movie and immediately notice the patterns.
Scooby-Doo, take note.
You also heard me correctly when I said that this is a group death game. This is a herd of inmates versus a single killer, and I hate this, because death games should really go in the same mindset as casinos. Now, hear me out. In a casino, a tiny, tiny minority will hit big and leave with serious money. The majority of people will leave with absolutely nothing, and at the end of the day, the house should always win, and this is how a death game should be. Most people who will take part in a death game should and will die, and the tiny, tiny minority are those who were smarter or stronger and figured out how to play the game properly. Now, there's a whole part in the middle of this movie that I hate it, where the group of inmates are randomly having a party with the show's producers, and this exact same conversation could have been had with Luke sat back in his prison cell, because at the end of the day, as we keep getting told, the group that he is with are all convicted felons who are on life sentences. Why are we having a party? I also hate the entire plot with the Doctor and his experiments on the actual killers in this game. Hate it. That being the justification for why these people get used on, like, no, they should just be so damn good at their job that nobody has beaten them. Make them like the most unbeatable group of killers that you have ever come across.
Stop it. Get some help.
What isn't obvious, though, about Arena Wars is this is also supposed to be a comedy movie. And it's not funny in the slightest. The only time I laughed was right at the very beginning in the first 5 seconds, where it pops up where this game is actually taking place. Besides that, not a single laugh came out of my mouth. The humour is very much punch down humour. It is punching down on inmates and the whole inmate life, and aren't people stupid because they'll watch absolutely anything on TV and cheer on people who we don't think deserve to be cheered on. Which is not my sense of humour in the slightest. But the thing with the inmates is they are all nondescript, can't tell you anything about any of them. So when you put all of them into an arena at the same time, they just become a sea of orange jumpsuits that I couldn't actually care less about. And then you have Holly Days, who is the host for this, who I cannot stand. And this is coming from a queer woman. Now, a queer cis woman. This character is a straight woman on her bachelorette party who has watched a single season of RuPaul's Drag Race and has gone to a gay bar and now thinks that she's all that and a bag of chips. Like, absolutely not. Sit down and take several seats.
I don't understand, bitch. I don't understand.
The acting isn't good. It feels like this is the first time that this cast has got together and sat down to do a table read. It is not good at all. Now, the action sequences are so clunky, and I personally think that they missed a massive opportunity in the casting for this movie, because I would have personally gone for a different route, and I would have looked to cast professional, semi-professional, or even indie circuit like wrestlers, people who play this kind of character all the time and give off that like heel energy and know how to perform and keep the action sequences looking fluid. And instead we get these really rigid like montage sequences which do not flow well at all. The killers should be the standout for this movie, and they are such throwaway characters. I cannot tell you anything about any of them except the character of Cutie Pie, and that is because she is pink. They are so interchangeable. Like, killer number 2 is basically killer number 3 without a balaclava. Killer number 4 doesn't even come into the movie until an hour and 14 minutes in. It's only an hour and 32 minutes including the credits. And killer number 5 is killers numbers 2 and 3, their costumes are mashed together, but with a miner's axe. And I'm telling you now, because I counted them, there are supposed to be 7 killers in this movie, and there isn't. There's only 6.
Are you serious?
There was absolutely a second missed opportunity for this movie. Every single inmate has a fake tattoo of a QR code somewhere on their neck or on their cheek. And I'm telling you it's a fake tattoo because it is shiny, and simply taking a matte setting powder and powdering it down would have removed the shininess to tell me that it is a fake stick-on tattoo. Now, a normal QR code has its little squares in the top left, top right, and bottom left. So it tells me when you look at these tattoos that they have flipped them and they are fake. Did nobody on the marketing team at any point think to sit down and say, if you use a real QR code and link it to the movie's website, somebody at some point will whip out their phone, because I did. I would have been so pleasantly surprised if it was a real QR code that took me to the website or to the trailer, because damn right I would have announced that online, but nope, another missed opportunity.
We're trying our best.
Your best is an idiot!
The CGI in this looks like I got it off free green screen websites, and the practical effects are really few and far between them, because most of the deaths in this either take place off camera or just out of sight of camera. Like, love watching actors stab the floor, and the only death that I can actually remember is the chainsaw death. Like, love some blood? We all love some blood, but I'm gonna need more than blood and fake fire to sell this movie to me. The soundtrack of this movie though, the soundtrack is great. It belongs to a much better movie than it's actually stuck with. Arena Wars is made by somebody who does not know the basics of how a death game movie works. This is coming from somebody who has seen everything from the biggest budget to the tiniest budget, so has a full arsenal to compare this to, and it is not good. In the end, I am actually going to give Arena Wars from 2024 a 1 out of 5 stars, because this was such a disappointment. Like, I'll be the first to say, you do not need a big budget to make a successful movie, but you at least need a direction and know what direction you want to take your movie in. This plot is not good, and it has more holes than a fishing net. You absolutely wasted your killers because they are all basically the same, but one's got a red wig and one wears a pink dress. And there were ways to save this movie and make it better, but nobody at any point actually thought to do it. So there you have it, my initial thoughts and my review for my first time watching Arena Wars from 2024. If you've also seen this movie, I would love to know what your thoughts and opinions are on this one down in the comments section down below, because I guarantee we will all be pulling this one to pieces. But if you are interested in watching it after hearing me slag it off for about 15 minutes, I will leave a link to justwatch.com in the description bar so you can find out where it's streaming in your country. If you would like to know where else you can find me though, I am also over on Instagram and Letterboxd at HordesOfHorror, where so far this year I have watched over 170 different horror movies, so there are plenty of things that I haven't spoken about right here on YouTube. But speaking of YouTube, I'll be back on Monday with another solo movie review. And back at the end of August, I posted a video talking about 4 movies that I wanted to prioritise watching in September and November. So it is finally time to get back to that list, and I will be watching Are We Not Cats from 2016. So until next time, bye.